welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. We're on the Young CGB account, and it is crafting day. So we've got this gold. We're gonna buy some packs. We're gonna see what we open and see what we make. But first, let's get our quests done for the day. So let's re-roll right here, and we get red or black spells. Rakdos for 500, Alex. Jeopardy jokes. All right, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try just making a mono red deck. Those of you who know me know I don't like mono red very much. Not my style, but I am on a mission to get better at it because I do see that it performs even when I think the deck is terrible. And part of that might be, to an extent, the deck may not be as good as other people think it is. But another part of that might be I'm not good at playing it. So I want to do a little better. I want to practice more red aggro in my life. And as much as that kind of pains me, I think it can definitely be useful for a lot of people out there who are trying to figure out what to play in MTG Arena, as cheap red decks have a long tradition of being better than expected and getting under mages who think that they can just ignore them as cheap little budget piles. So what do we want? We want pretty much anything that is cheap, attacks quickly, has haste. I don't know if Fire Urchin is even close to good enough. +1/+0 is a very low bar, very low number. And of course, filling this up, Gutter Snipe seems to be a solid. And Experimental Frenzy, Rekindling Phoenix can make the cut. Actually, we're getting pretty close to a deck already, so maybe we don't have to compromise quite as much as I would have expected. A few Monster Swords sound nice. You could also go with maybe a, I like Monster Sword because it tries to get the game over super fast, but maybe a Siege Gang Monster Sword split has a place, some Banefire, and then 24 lands. We got a nice mana curve going from 1 down to 5, and as far as stats go, we've got 22 creatures. It's a little low, but I think our burn spells like Shock and Lightning Strike are better than our creatures a good amount of the time for the deck. So we'll put this in as red. And don't I also have I do have some common wildcards to use that I couldn't figure out how to use. So we can probably make some upgrades here. A few good common red cards, like Fanatical Firebrand. I mean, this is the kind of card that I'm sure we'll end up crafting anyway if we ever want to play a red deck. It's hard to have too much regret about bringing the Firebrands into the field. So I'll get, we'll say 3 of those. And I think that the Viashino Pyromancer is also common, and I really want some 2-drops. Yeah, so that is also a good one that is easy to add to the deck. If you want to play red, I think crafting those is hard to go wrong with. I don't know how often we'll play red, but I did say I'm trying to get better at it, so we got to do something. Not playing it doesn't make us better, that's for sure. So we got a few more creatures. We can probably trim on a few things. You might be saying cut the Pilgrim. I don't think I want many. Maybe 1 is a good number, because it is really good when the opponent just, for whatever reason, hasn't found the way to make the play. And what I really don't like much are the Goblin Instigators. The going wide and making tokens doesn't seem to get through very often and doesn't seem to hit very hard. But perhaps we can cut a Shivan Fire. What are we on? 22 creatures again. Yeah, I do feel like I need a few more creatures for a deck like this. I do want Lava Coil as an out to my opponent's Rekindling Phoenix. I like Repeated Barrage for repeated damage, but it is slow and super clunky. And with Banefire, I doubt I need it. So yeah, there. Now we keep the curve nice and tight. We can probably cut a few lands, to be honest. We don't have that many expensive cards. So I will go to a 23rd Mountain. If you want some guides on like how many lands, index, and things like that, I have some nice articles pinned in the Discord server, which you're welcome to join for free. All right, ready to try out our red shenanigans? We'll either win fast or lose fast, but we will cast spells. We will knock out our quest quickly. Building out this deck would require some rares. Runaway Steamkin, Goblin Chain Whirler are probably at the top of the list, and followed by Rekindling Phoenix, Experimental Frenzy, and if you like it, Risk Factor. Those would be the cards I think you should get your hands on first and foremost if you want to fill out this deck. I think we'll start with a Banneret. I want to have it out there. I don't want to pump it next turn. I want to play Crater Maker, but then I can pump the Banneret the next turn, hit with a pumped up Crater Maker, and the Banneret, and a Fanatical Firebrand. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and pump. Red, blue, you got tricks. Okay. Lightning Strike for the Crater Maker, but leaving the Banneret. So we can pump our Banneret. We can play our Fanatical Firebrand. We can attack with both because of the haste. And we can put a +1/+1 counter on our Firebrand. Not just a little monkey no more. Of course, never was a monkey for you technical types. It's a Goblin Pirate and is apparently not, definitely not, no matter what you say, this is not a monkey. Not a monkey. Uh-oh. Takes out the not a monkey. Well, this is the good news about the Banneret. When you have nothing to do with your mana, you can pump it up and punch people extra hard. I'm kind of amazed our opponent hasn't killed it yet, to be honest. No respect. No respect for the Banneret. Let's see if our opponent goes for a Drake right now. A Crackling Drake. That would be very nice, but nope. Not today. Alright. See if the opponent's willing to kill this now. They have a radical idea. They are conceding. They are conceding to the might of the Banneret. I'm stunned. Banneret's one of those medium cards. When it's good, like today, in this game, it's very, very good. When it's poor, it's a 1/1 for 1 that didn't do anything and dies. So I would never get 4 of them. This is definitely, in my opinion, if you're going to play with it, a 1 of or a 2 of card, the Goblin Banneret. Saying that to possibly help you out, prevent you from crafting more because you convince yourself it's the bee's knees. And then you find out it's not really good to have multiples of them on the field. And it's not really good to have them most of the time. Well, I can't resist hands like this when I'm recording. I just can't do it. The memeiest hands where you have like 3 or 4 of something in your opener and you just get to spam it over and over. I just can't resist when I record. This hand, I don't see how I could get this excited about it, but just the fact that I drew all the Fanatical Firebrands in my deck, it just gets me. It absolutely gets me. So our opponent's holding priority. Could be any number of things, but Seal Away comes to mind as a card that they could be holding here. Nothing that's going to stop me from charging. Yeah, all right. Nothing happening. I like it. Militia Bugler. And they did find something, a Swiftblade Vindicator, but Fanatical Firebrand laughs at such things. Let's play our Gutter Snipe and say go. We could have also Lava Coiled the Bugler and attacked for 3, but having the Gutter Snipe on the battlefield opens up the ability to do 2 extra damage with the Lava Coil. And our opponent has a Legion Warboss. This is interesting because that token is going to go to its death probably, but our opponent might have some kind of a trick like Integrity in their hand. In fact, I think they do. have an integrity in their hand. That would explain the pauses we've been seeing. It gives +2/+2 to a creature. So if I am to play around that well, I think we let this resolve. When our opponent goes to combat, they get a 1/1. But it's just a little 1/1, and it has to attack. The Bugler attacks as well. So I could play around the integrity, or I could play in such a manner to get it out of my opponent's hand. Also, I need to concern myself with doing as much damage to face as possible. It's a very interesting situation. I think I need to save the lava coil for this war boss. And that might mean I don't get to attack. But I don't want to lose anything to the integrity, so I'm not going to block the token or the bugler. Okay, a hunted witness. Well, that makes me think they don't actually have the integrity, because now I can firebrand away the war boss. Let's see what we draw. Goblin Instigator. Okay, so I think the play is to lava coil the bugler and take out the war boss. Not the funnest 2-for-1, I do assure you. And another kind of 2-for-1 because the bugler drew a good card in the Vindicator. So, not fun. Not really the way you want to do it. And the opponent's going to block with the witness so they can have their lifelinker boy. But at some point you got to get through with red. You can't sit back forever. I'll play the Instigator because it matches up better with the pair of tokens our opponent has made. We are in big trouble though if they play an Angel, something of size. And it's another Vindicator. Anybody wish to attack? No. Alright. So now we have this Firebrand. We want to make sure that this Vindicator doesn't get pumped. Hold this land to make them think we have something, but I don't think we have a good attack here. I guess I could attack with the Gutter Snipe. If the opponent wants to try to trade off with it, maybe I can trick them. Or maybe they're just willing to get rid of their Vindicator. If they just trade there, it's kind of a safe play. If I actually sack my Firebrand, we get blown out. Oh, here it comes. So now the question is, do they have two of them? No, they don't. So that worked out well. Yep. Kind of got them into using it and then blew up their thing. Now we'll see if they have like another Vindicator or something. Oh, that's really bad. And that's worth 3 life, but we do want to give up a goblin to deal with it. Another land. Not good. Epic fail. Our opponent keeps drawing spells. They got to 4 land and stopped drawing land after already getting up a few cards with the Militia Bugler and the War Boss. Yeah, that's probably going to be the death. The death of CGB here. You have to block that before it grows even bigger with the Aurelia. More creatures. More lands. That is really, really sad. But that seems to happen to me when I play the red. When I play red decks, this is the norm. When other people play red decks, they just burn the hell out of me. Complaining. I'll stop. I'm sorry. In general, you need to mulligan just about any hand that has 4 lands in it off the start, unless it has a card like this. 2 lands and 3 lands are very ideal, so we'll keep this one. And green-white, probably another tough matchup for our little red deck that could. Our super budgety little red pile. But where there is frenzy, there is hope. This card goes absolutely bonkers. Okay, our opponent found their Llanowar Elf. So Bolt the Bird is the name of the game. Let's see if the opponent wants to trade first. I'd rather trade away my Banneret than my Lightning Strike, since it's unlikely to deal that much damage. Oh, they will block. Okay. See, what I'm saying when I say it's not likely to deal damage, I'm guessing based on the colors my opponent is playing that they're going to play a bunch of things that get on the ground. And being here on the draw with a Goblin Banneret, it's just not going to attack in very well against a whole bunch of little dorks that take up a lot of space. And Jadelight Ranger definitely counts for that. Let's get the Gutter Snipe down. And some kind of an Explorer deck, no blockers. Gonna get punched in the face here by the Jadelight Ranger. Here comes another Branchy. The green-white Explorer token thing, if that's what this is, can gain a lot of life with cards like Wild Growth Walker. So maybe we're lucky we haven't seen one yet. Oh, Adanto Vanguard. Well, alright. Well, the shock is definitely happening. The Lightning Strike would like to happen. Whether or not to try to race with this Jadelight Ranger. I think I'm best off attacking. I think my opponent will trade for their Branchwalker, but maybe they'll be too aggressive and not block it. Every little point of damage counts. Here comes a Pyro. So this opens up shocking the Merfolk Branchwalker and also dealing face, but it also opens up lines like going face. So with the Gutter Snipe on the table, this is good for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Our opponent's at 14. This is good for 2, so getting them to 11. So given enough time, we only need to find 3 more points of damage. Almost any spell can do that. Okay, so the opponent is not attacking with their other creatures, so we're going to say no blocks. Given that, I feel like they should have certainly attacked with their Branchy last turn, or blocked with it. One of the two. And more Vanguards. I'm more than happy to ask them to pay 4 life for those. And Venerated Loxodon to make them all bigger, but they are tapping down their creatures. Let's think. So how much does this attack for next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm at 12, and of course there's this. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm at 12, so I need to block 3 of them. So I can't attack with very many cards. Which is too bad, because that would get the damage through that we need. If I attack with 2 my Pyromancers and get 2 more through, I just have to live for 1 turn. So we're going to do our damage upstairs and hope to buy 1 turn with chump blocking. And then pull, we're gonna need at least 1 more point of lethal. Let's see what we draw. Well, that I I just need to get 2 damage in. But if I do that, I'm going to die to the backswing. Because we need to have blockers here and here. If I attack with both of these, and then block here, I die. So I can't really attack. What I can try to do is go block, 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 go to 4, keep my Gutter Snipe, untap, go 3 plus 2, and 3 plus 2 is 10, if the Gutter Snipe lives. But I have to draw land. The other thing I could do is block, 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 and go 3 plus 2 to face, put them at 5, untap, and then if I draw Shock or a land, I win. That's better. Having the chance to draw a Shock or a land gives me a few more outs in the deck. So we do die to a removal spell with this line, but I think it's the right one. Well, we don't die to a removal spell, but we have to Lightning Strike a creature, which is kind of a disaster. All right, they all deal 4. Maybe we can trick our opponent into paying some life. And we do this before the Gutter Snipe dies, because we do need the trigger. Down to 5. A land off the top or a shock off the top wins the game. Oh, and if they don't have a creature, so does a Gitu Lava Runner. Alright, so the Gitu Lava Runner is no longer lethal. All the Vanguards, wow. Oh. It burns. So I have to wonder if there was something I did wrong. Like, where did I mess it up? I don't know. But our goal is to play spells, so we'll fire off one more. And if they have a quest, as long as, I guess we'll let them do their quest. Try to be nice about it. Usually drawing another Lightning Strike on the crucial turn is exactly what you need, but not this time. So as you can see, I definitely struggle more with red. I have to think a lot more with red than I do with control, and it's mostly out of habits. I have my control habits like really built in, hardwired. With red, getting absolutely the most to face is a lot trickier. So, we're going first. We have Frenzy and we have 4 lands. I said to mulligan hands with 4 lands. This is the exception, Experimental Frenzy. When you have that with 4 lands, I think you can do it. Now, do I want turn 1 Rigging Runner? I don't believe that's good enough. Oh. Scoop to Mountain. The sadness. Well, I got no spells this way. I should have gone for the Rigging Runner right away. I didn't know my opponent was going to scoop. I would have, like, insta-played Rigging Runner if I had known that might happen. Oh my. Well, definitely mulliganing 5 lands. Jeez, the pizzas. Alright. This'll do. On the play. So, leading with Runner, because Rigging Runner, the Lava Runner, that is. The Team Runners. The Lava Runner, the Rigging Runner is bigger if you attack with a creature the turn you play it. So that's what Raid is good about. That's what Raid's for. So we attack with Lava Runner and we can make a 2/2 Rigging Runner. Our opponent has gone to 5. Instigator on top for another body. Actually don't know if this is any good. I'm very low on this card in general. It's sort of my filler until we get a Runaway Steamkin. But I keep a Steamkin this spot? Maybe. It's better than land. It's gas, right? We're just trying to pile in damage. Here's the Lava Runner. And an island. All right. Well, let's resolve the Pyromancer while we can. Do that 2 damage face. Lava run, smash face. Face, face, face. So a 2-1 is not as good as a 2-2 first strike, obviously, but being mana efficient, that is spending as much mana as you can within each turn, can really help your deck. So going for the Pyromancer before our opponent might counter it also. Thought Erasure, they're attacking my hand. Curious what they'll take here. If they take the strike, I mean, that's probably some Golden Demise or Ritual of Soot type play, but I don't think I can play around one of those anyway. My opponent puts Niv Mizzet in the graveyard with a Swamp on the table. Good God, what is this? Alright, so we go to combat, we attack with our boys. Or girl, I don't know how they identify. And a Riggin Runner. And even if our opponent has a Golden Demise, we did our quest. And we're just going to try to beat them down before they get to do whatever is going on with Niv Mizzet in the graveyard and Thought Erasure and blue-black. So this is a Reanimator deck for Niv Mizzet, I'm guessing, using a card like Eldest Reborn or Yawgmoth's Vile Offering to pull it out of the graveyard. So much damage. We're going to play out our lands for sure. We don't want to have to discard them to Disinformation Campaign and company. And we're just not going to give our opponent the time. We're just going to give them no time. And that'll do it. No time for reanimating Niv Mizzet, thank you very much. Budget red. If you like to win fast or lose fast, have I got a deck for you. Alright, quest complete. Let's get to the store and buy some packs. Hello? Where's the store? There's the store. Jeez, weird. Alright, Guilds of Ravnica, I'm sticking with it. I still think it's the best thing to buy right now. If you're doing multicolor decks, I think focusing on the guilds builds you the most synergistic decks. So there you go, we got up to 9 packs for our week. That's pretty great. And let's crack them. Alright, so Molder Hulk, maybe our green-black deck can take a Molder Hulk turn someday. We got an uncommon wild card, it appears, and our rare is Unmoored Ego. Not really a card you can just run in best of 1, so probably a pretty dead rare. But let's see about the next one. Inescapable Blaze. Another uncommon wild card is wonderful. Notion Rain, maybe. And there's Tajik, the Legion's Edge, to try to help Boros out a little bit, because man does it need it. Not lucking out on the commons and uncommons. Can I have a good rare? No, I cannot. Mausoleum Secrets. It's an okay rare, but we already had one. That's why I'm a little let down. Another Fine Broker is good for Golgari. Rest is pretty meh. Bounty Agent. Probably not good. I'm not playing with the one I have. Chemister's Insight. Maybe there's a deck for you somewhere. Expansion Explosion. Another one of those to go into Izzet or Jeskai. Sounds wonderful. How about a rare land? Can I get one of those? Ionize. Well, that will help the Izzet clan as well. Nightveil Predator and Truefire Captain. And another Thief of Sanity. I think that is our third. We've got an uncommon and a common and an Assassin's Trophy. I think that's our second to help out the Golgari mages. And this just lit up, so is this a mythic wildcard? It is. You can kind of foreshadow what's coming that way. So, we got one rare and one mythic for our week's effort. What do we want to craft? Yeah, you can go away for a while. And this was a quest deck too. It can go away for a while. Dimir, the main thing I want to spend my rare wildcards on are the lands, because I want to continue to work on that. Now, that may not be exciting for some of you, but I think I'm at the stage where just improving my mana will make my experience a lot better. So I'm going to pick up a Watery Grave and cut another Guildgate. All right. Not a big difference for those curious about whether or not you have a Drowned Catacomb or a Watery Grave or whatever. All right, I don't need any mythics here. Not for this deck. And I don't need any mythics for budget blue. I have 4 uncommons and 4 commons. Let's have a look around the collection. Let's see, last time we grabbed an Immortal Sun, which I was pretty excited about. I do want to keep doing the Explorer Creature package, because I think that there's several ways you can build the Explorer decks. But I also would like to start acquiring a few more mythics that can help me out. Having more Carnage Tyrants seems interesting for all the green quests, and just being like, Carnage Tyrant can solve a lot of problems, especially against control mages. But at the end of the day, maybe it's time to pick up some Planeswalkers. I'm an old school Magic player. I come from a time before Planeswalkers, to be totally honest. They always feel like something else to me, but it is probably time here in the arena to find one. We could also grab Lyra, who is wonderful if I'm going to play white, but I just haven't played much white. It's not my usual thing. Vivian Reed's an excellent Planeswalker. Of course, everybody knows about Teferi, the villain of Dominaria, by now. But Vraska, if I want to work on the Golgari and the Explorer train, seems like an excellent place to be. And we went through this whole thing last time, and I don't plan to repeat it for too long. But yeah, I think I'd like to play with a Vraska. Now the question is which one? The Ixalan one, which is a little bit older Vraska, or the Guilds of Ravnica one? Well, since Guilds of Ravnica are the packs we're going to be opening, there's always a chance we could crack this. I'm going to grab what they call Big Vraska, I think. Though even there, Carnage Tyrant is sort of taking the place of Big Vraska. But they will definitely win us games. So I'm going to grab Big Vraska with my Mythic. Alright. What else we got? 4 uncommons and 4 commons. So let's find the Explorer creatures. For the commons and uncommons here that we don't have yet. The Wild Growth Walker is going to be a key one, and we can also pick up a Branch Walker. So I think I can use my uncommons here on some Wild Growth Walkers. Oops. Well, now we have to do Collected as well. And I think I'll do 3 of those. And the 4th Merfolk Branchy. So we're getting started on our Explore package, which can go in green-black, it can go in green-white, it could probably go in red-green, to be honest. It can probably go into a number of things. And then for the commons, I will hang on to those because I'm not sure what I wish to use them on yet. There are some common Explorer creatures that could take the place of Seeker's Squire for a little while, but that would just be a band-aid. I don't need them in the super long run, but they'd probably get the job done just fine. Let's see. So there's some Ixali's Diviner, and there is Tishana's Wayfinder, both of which are fine if you need substitutes for your Jade Light Rangers and things of that nature so that you can play your Wild Growth Walker and get value out of it. And I don't know if there's a better use for common wild cards, so I'm probably going to go ahead and pick up these, because I don't know when I'm going to have the rares to use on Jade Light Ranger. And not collected. I have one more? I do. So we'll grab one of you two to sub for Seeker Squire, which is not that bad of a substitution, to be honest. They're pretty close in style. Let's go back to the home page. All right, we've got 100 gold if we do another game. We have a constructed event that we're working on, so we'll brew a little more with Golgari and the Explorer Wildgrowth Walker package next week. I'm sure you're excited for it, but we can wait. Let's see if we can get a few more games in our event with Dimir. Unfortunately, we can't sub our Watery Grave in. The deck is locked in. You can't make changes to it after you enter the event, so don't watch for that Watery Grave here in this video. It won't be there. Thought Erasure and 2 Discoveries. Well, this is a mystery hand, and I'm going to keep it because I'm an optimist. I like to think that Discovery will just set up and draw me perfect cards for the next several draw steps, and golly gee, it'll work out so great. But I like to start on a Thought Erasure so that I know more about how informed to make my discoveries. And what do we have? We have some... Wow, our opponent kept a rough hand. There are 2 Knights of Malice, a Sarah's Guardian. None of these can be cast. Right now, the nearest thing that can be cast is the Encyclopedia, and it does provide regular card advantage, and we are a deck that's trying to win by taking away card advantage. So while I do fear the Ixalan's Binding, I'm going to take the Encyclopedia, and I'll keep Search for Rizkanta on top of my deck. And hopefully, with the help of Discovery, we can flip Search for Rizkanta before Ixalan's Binding comes into play. Oh wow, our opponent drew a black source right off the top. Bravo to them. They are lords of card draw. Yep, it's nice. It's nice. Let's get out of Search for Rizkanta. And then we'll try to fill our graveyard. And hopefully before our opponent finds their 4th land, never mind, they drew another black source right off the top. Yeah, this game is going perfectly for them. Now we need ways to kill the creatures. We need Ritual of Soot. And we need something for the Leonin War Leader as well. So let's see if we can find it. There's Ritual of Soot. And a Disinformation Campaign, which is lovely. So let's put that into our hand. I'm trying to think if I also want the campaign or if I don't have time for it. When I look over and I see that my opponent has a Leonin War Leader coming, I don't know how much time I have to play this card, but it is a key card in the deck, so I'm going to keep it. I would like to think my opponent will spend their turn using Ixalan's Binding on the Search for Rizkanta instead. And another Ritual Set. Well, I don't need 2. I just need 1. And then I need some Vraska's Contempts for these types of creatures. So will they bind or will they War Leader? How aggressive will they be? They will bind. So we had enough cards in the graveyard that they got scared that the search would grow up on them. That binding also pumps the knights, which is grr. So they've got to die. Now we do have Dream Eater to battle the War Leader. Not only that, Dream Eater can come down, block the War Leader, return the Ixalan's Binding, but it looks like we might be going a different way. So our opponent plays Herald of Faith. They still have these 2 cards that we know about in their hand that are very good. I think I need to take a hit from the Herald of Faith, let it hit me. We go to 8, but Dream Eater can save it next turn. In the meantime, we can use Disinformation Campaign to empty their hand and take away those cards. I'm impressed how many lands our opponent has managed to draw in a row. I hope I do that someday when I keep a hand with 2 planes. Because I mean that. I'm not being snarky. I would love to get that. I would love to get that kind of result. Our opponent draws a Hired Poisoner. It's a 1/1 with Death Touch. So that is okay. I'm not very scared of the Hired Poisoner. And now the Dream Eater can do its work. If the opponent taps their mana, which they do for a Gravedigger, excellent. What we can do now is Dream Eater the Binding, so that we can flip our Iskanta, and we can block and kill the Herald of Faith. We do need to find an answer for a few of these other creatures, but I think that Dream Eater's Surveil 4 will help us do that. Yeah, a Vraska's Contempt will really help. Send that back to the hand. Return these to my hand. 2 life gained. Block the Herald of Faith. Go to 7. Untap. Library the Contempt. Transform the Iskanta. Draw the Vraska's Contempt. Opponent gives that a nice as well. Because they only represent 3 damage on the board, and because I have a Vraska's Contempt, I think I can attack their hand. And I'll also still have Sinister Sabotage available to counter something they might draw off the top of the deck. All right, we're starting to pull away as long as we can get the board cleaned up in the next turn or two. And the opponent is really a fan of the nice emote. They seem to use it when things are nice and when they're not as happy. Here's a Doom Whisperer off the top. It's a wonderful draw. The Hired Poisoner, it cannot block though. I'm trying to see how aggressive my opponent will be. Will they attack with both? They will. So now we'll use a Vraska's Contempt to exile the Hired Poisoner, gain 2 life. Remember, as Death Touch, we don't want to block it with our Doom Whisperer. Nope, we don't actually want to use that ability. Let's go to blocks. And damage. Okay, now do we want to Surveil to get our disinformation campaigns? I don't think it matters, so I'm not going to. I think we're far enough ahead that we don't need that. Yes, they seem to find everything nice. I'll have to mute you now. A little too chatty Cathy. And they move to end step. We'll use Iskanta the Sunken Ruin. More Sinister Sabotage. If we show our opponent the Sabotage, though, they'll likely concede here. But I guess that's part of the job, but the disinformation campaign to take out their hand is probably smart, so I don't even have to spend a counterspell in case they have a Settle the Wreckage in their hand. Another Plains. All right. 2 more turns of Doom, and we'll be good. There's a War Leader. Let's play the Essence Scatter. And there's the concession. So got ourselves out of a dicey situation. Our opponent had a lot of luck to get that hand to pay off, but then didn't have a lot of luck because in the end it didn't match up well with a very good hand from our deck. On 3 wins and 1 loss, the 4th game is the break even. At that point, you get your gold back that you paid for your entry fee, plus you get the 3 cards that you won. So you're doing better than grinding on ladder if you can get to the 4th win in Quick Constructed. Going infinite, some might call it, because you get your money back and you just get to play again and again and again, and you acquire more and more cards, and eventually, given enough time and persistence, you'll just have everything you need, in theory. Of course, more cards are introduced to Magic all the time just to mess with that. I think we'll launch our Thought Erasure. Let's see what's cooking in this hand. Oh my. So we can Essence Scatter or Contempt the Rekindling Phoenix. Unfortunately, this is going to come down, which maybe I just should have held up Essence Scatter. I did think about it. I think the best card to take away is Experimental Frenzy, so I don't have to think about it, even though it is 4 mana, and the opponent might not get there. And we could also take a Lightning Bolt, just reduce their options. But I think taking the Frenzy stands out to me as the safe play. Although I don't know. Frenzy might not be good if our opponent can't draw enough land. Maybe taking Risk Factor so that they just don't get to draw cards is the right play. And hoping that they don't get to 4 mana. But Risk Factor being 3 mana, this would be 1 if that Pyromancer resolves, and it's going to. I think I'm going to talk myself into the Wizard's Lightning, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to bin this Doom Whisperer because I already have one. I shouldn't need another if I play well. Let's see if the opponent just wants to fire off a shock here. It would leave them naked to a Thief of Sanity off the top. But what I'm trying to do is just keep them from being efficient. If I can keep their hand full, I can buy time and hopefully get ahead of them. Alright, well that's unfortunate. Now I'm hoping that they draw a creature, or else my Essence Scatters are sad Essence Scatters. Oh, they're in the tank. Go bird, fly. Alright, I will Essence Scatter it. Better than using... I find I usually regret it when I don't get to do that. Oh, they drew 2 Fanatical Firebrands in a row. Curious. Right. I will get rid of the Wizard in case they draw another Wizard's Lightning. Don't draw land. No land. In fact, draw more expensive things. Draw more Rekindling Phoenix and Frenzy. More Risk Factor. That's how I think we have to win this game. The Honest Man has something to think about. What could it be? Hit you go. I suppose we can start this party somewhere. They didn't have a creature, so holding up the Essence Scatter is likely a waste of my time. Well, I can still hold up the Essence Scatter, sort of for free, because I drew the untapped land. That's nice, if we get a creature with it. So we can guess that these are removal spells, burn spells. And let's see what they do with them. Do they start shooting our face? No, not yet. They're being cautious. It's interesting. And they're scooping. So the they won't draw land strategy works out. Pays off. I can't guarantee that will always be the case. You are setting yourself up, I can tell you from experience, for a pretty big tilt when they do draw all the lands that they need. Let's look at our reward counter, what we got. I guess there's still 50 gold. And we need our gold. We are the free-to-play. The gold is needed. Okay, we go first, which is a big deal when you have a card like Essence Scatter in your opener. Last time we were punished for playing Thought Erasure instead of Essence Scatter, but I may do it again anyway because I'm crazy. The Ritual Sit is a much better cleanup than the Vraska's Contempt we had last time, so we can keep this hand. There's no question it's a decent hand. Our opponent has mulligan to 6. So whether or not they keep their card on top gives you an impression of what might be to come. When they go to the bottom, though, they could be keeping a very speculative hand. This is where a lot of the 1-landers or 6-landers get kept. And they're going to open on a Mistcloaked Herald. I think we need to Thought Erasure right away and try to take away a Counterspell or a Curious Obsession. And there is a Curious Obsession. And that is a land I don't need. So that is a wonderful Thought Erasure. Our opponent with an Opt and a Dive Down. We can play around the Dive Down pretty well with the hand that we have. Our deck has a lot of spot removal in it, but we don't have it right now. That Ritual of Soot, as long as the Ritual of Soot resolves and our opponent doesn't top deck a Counterspell in the next draw step, is going to be looking really good for us. Wow, they play another creature. And now, with only 1 mana, they don't have a counterspell for the ritual. That's pretty aggressive, and they probably feel like they have to do it, as it's their only way to win. But this is probably a heartbreaker. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. Alright, at least they found another creature. They're not completely naked, but it will take a long time for that creature to get somewhere. Disdainful Stroke in this matchup might be pure fodder. I don't even know if they play a 4-drop card in their deck. Right? Oh my. Perfect draw. Shoots right through us. We could still lose this game after that, which would amaze me. But it is possible. It's a big creature. Did they top deck a Wizard's Retort or Essence Scatter as well for the ultimate? Nope. Not at this point, which they might be in a bind. They might be in a bind. If they don't have a way to remove this, they lose their Curious Obsession. They might have to attack into this Doom Whisperer. And rather than face that painful choice, they're going to scoop up the cards and leave. So just when it looked like they could claw their way back into the game. Well, we'll save a few more games as we try to get to 7 wins, where we get at least 2 rares and an uncommon, for the next video. And I will say thank you very much, as always, for watching this channel, this show. Thanks to all my supporters on Patreon. I hope you enjoy your extra videos each week. And to all of you, I will see you in the next video.